What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the TKT podcast, the Two Kill Time podcast. I'm Kane, this is Travis, and this is TJ, and we have a very special guest for you in this episode. But before we get into that, we want to thank you guys all for listening and your continued support on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You guys constantly show out for us in pretty much every aspect, so we want to thank you for that. Also, this is our 20th episode, and this is our first guest of 2023. Everybody, welcome Kirby Curb Appeal in the chat.
Thanks for having me there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I went to college with at least Kane and TJ, or not TJ, Travis there. TJ, you might have been there a little bit after me, or maybe in between.
I was there for like 2 weeks, so like maybe I was there.
Yeah, I might have played some pickup basketball with you guys at the end of there.
I think at least once or twice.
Yeah. At least.
But I'm a little bit older than all these guys, but I went to classes with Kane a lot. We did a lot of projects in sports management at SUNY Canton.
Indeed.
I grew up in Fulton there, which is near Oswego, in between Oswego and Syracuse. I have one brother. He's always bigger than me, but he is younger, so a lot of people get that mistaken. And I like sports, music, pretty much anything. You know, I'm a pretty relatable guy to a lot of people.
Does that piss you off? Your younger brother being bigger?
A little bit. I mean, he had a beard since he was like 13, 14 years old, size 16 feet. So it's like,
damn, size 16 feet.
Oh my!
I've been looking for Bigfoot. He lives in Fulton, New York. Everybody, Jesus Christ, he ain't in the mountains. Oh my God.
Yep, he's had that same size since he was 16, so he stopped then. So it's at least.
So he definitely has trouble finding shoes
and socks.
We usually had to go online or socks too. Or you would go to like certain places, not Men's Warehouse, like DSW and like there's certain stores that like are more big and tall for people. They're on clearance. You get 2 for like 100. So he got sales more than I did. So
word.
I wear size 11, so that's like the main shoe size.
Like the normal. So you just struggled to find shoes. You struggled more than he did.
Like I found them, but they'd be more expensive because they're like more, more common. Yeah. Like more people have them, so like they're gonna sell for a higher amount.
Feels like 75% of people wear size 11.
I know. I got small ass feet.
Yep.
You don't?
What size you wear, Kane?
Oh, 8.5 to 9.5, depending on the shoe. Yeah, I got
size
small ass feet, bro.
Though. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, normal size socks though.
See, it's weird,
average
man.
socks.
I feel like I range depending on the shoe from like 11.5 to like a 13. Like it.
Yeah,
it
like
really
bro,
depends.
if I buy Nikes, like I gotta go like 9.5 to almost a 10 sometimes, and then like Under Armour 8.5.
Yeah,
every pair of Under Armour shoes 8.5 to 9.
The only shoe I've ever had problems with, and I haven't tried them again, is Pumas. Like they're just too skinny for my foot.
They're narrow.
I got fat ass feet, so pretty much every shoe's fucked for me. Anyways, Kirby, you have your own podcast as well. Feel free to shamelessly plug this now. Go ahead and feel free to talk about that. How did you start your podcast? How did you get that going? And again, just feel free to just talk about it as much as you'd like.
Yeah. Sometimes I've asked you to maybe plug it, but I didn't know how to plug it, of course. So now this is my opportunity.
Yeah.
So, we were almost going to go live tonight, but things happened, so we'll probably go live tomorrow. We try to go live Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Facebook. We stream it from StreamYard, which is a better source. Facebook was giving us problems. And we had 3. So how it began, so I'll start it that way. One of my friends I played Madden and 2K with for years, and I met him in person, and he lives right in Solvay, so it's like we're right near each other, so it's not that far. If you don't know where Solvay is, it's right near the Great State Fair in Syracuse. So that's where it is.
Interesting.
But yeah, he called me up one day. I was getting done, getting a haircut from my barber, and he's like, "Hey, I got a great proposition for you." He's like, "Call me when you can." So once I got out of the barber, I called him. He's like, "Hey, I know you went to school for sports. You always talk about it. Like you post all these rankings, all that stuff too." He's like, "Of course you know me. I know I like sports a lot. I know sports." He's like, "We should get like a podcast and just start talking about it because we talk about it all the time anyways." Yeah, so to get our voices out and record us so we can see our predictions and see if we were right, down the road. And So we were coming up with a name, and we also like this one guy was like our third member back then. Now we have two, but we kind of kicked our third member out just because he wasn't putting the effort as
Damn,
much
rip that
as,
third member.
yeah.
Alright,
I'm not gonna put his name out. I'm not gonna, but he knows
He's
who
like,
he
yeah,
is.
we're a duo. We're a duo.
Yep. So when we were coming up with a name, like of course, like for you guys, like I mean, it probably came like, you probably thought about it, but eventually with your names, it just worked out.
Yeah,
and,
I'm gonna be honest. Like TKT took us a minute to come up with something that it
Yep.
stood for because we knew we wanted it to be TKT or TTK or something along those lines,
You
and
know,
it just
yeah.
we
And you just
brainstormed
know-
for maybe 10 minutes, and then it just kind of hit.
Yep, and you just didn't know how like those letters would stand for something. Like you didn't know
Yeah.
what it would mean. And to kill time is like it's perfect for you guys. It works out for your names, and it's really what you guys do. We're just
Yeah.
killing time, like talking about random stuff. But yeah, and so yeah, for our sports, like we just came up with the name. Like it took a while, but we did Off the Dome Sports was our first one.
I remember
And we thought about it because two things. One, because the Carrier Dome in Syracuse.
that.
Clay Dowsey
And
Gibby.
two, yep, and then two, like just thinking things off our head with our dome. So that was like I don't know what the word is.
Yeah, double entendre, if you will.
See, it was in my head. I just didn't know how to say it.
Off the
So-
dome, if you will.
Yes, that was off the dome. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm down. Like, we just got to get organized. We got to figure out our schedule. Like, I'm sure you guys figured out Tuesdays are your podcast day and what time and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so like eventually we were doing that for a while, but then like things happened where like, all of us were going through things. Especially with me, like, like I said, I'll go through everything. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
my dad, last year, around Christmas time is when he got COVID, and then he was in the hospital for almost 5 weeks battling the COVID. And I was the primary person because I was the oldest. My parents are divorced, so I had to get all the calls from the doctors, handle everything, like make the decisions pretty much.
Damn.
I would have my brother help me out a little bit, but it was mainly more on me.
And how do you think that
Pretty wild.
impacted you? Just not that whole situation, but just having to be the one that took the phone calls, even at such a young age, especially not just for anybody but your father.
Yep. No, it was real hard because like I was at work still, trying to handle work while handling these calls and getting these calls and like trying to like go back to work after these calls. And so like my management, my work was real cool about the whole situation. They told me like, hey, if I need to take a breather or step away, like we know what you're going through, like don't worry about it. So they were cool about it. And I had like my dad's girlfriend, like she was only dating him for like 2 years, but like she was in those 2 years they did a lot together. They went to Las Vegas together, Yellowstone, like Salem and Massachusetts. They went for like the witch trials and
Damn, that's
all
cool.
that stuff. So yeah, and that was one of his dreams. Like he was Halloween was his favorite
Yeah.
holiday, and he really wanted to go to Salem his whole life, and he finally got there.
And I saw that
That's dope.
this Halloween they kind of honored him with the Halloween
Yep.
decorating contest. I thought that was really fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
Not
that's
just as a community, but to have that type of impact on the entire community is really cool. So I just wanted to say, hey, give you my condolences. We're here, and I couldn't imagine going through that with either of my parents. So it's definitely a hard task, no matter how old you are or who you are. It's always going to be a struggle.
Yeah, of course. Like at this age or at any age, even if you're 40, whatever, you never want to go through this. Being especially the primary person taking the questions and decisions and taking care of your dad or mom or whoever that's impacted your life. So yeah, like it was tough too because like it was during COVID, like when it was crazy as well last year. And they wouldn't let me go see him till like the last week. He was already on the ventilator, like he couldn't talk back to me.
Damn.
So I couldn't see him till then.
Yeah.
They put him actually on the ventilator without even telling us. Like we found out like 8-10 hours later. Like, so it's just craziness. But Yeah, at the age like it took me a while to handle it, and I'm still handling it the way the best I can. Of course, it's been almost a year. January 13th actually is when he did pass, so it's
Wow.
been 10 days away from a year now.
Yeah.
So this Christmas I couldn't even decorate a tree or put up a tree, because that's how we got COVID. We decorated a tree, and that's how we got COVID. So. Yeah, so like the holidays were tough. Like Halloween and or Thanksgiving weren't as tough, I guess. Like I don't know why. Like I would think it'd be tougher than Christmas. Just because he was in the hospital on Christmas, so I didn't really spend it with him last year.
Yeah.
Halloween and Thanksgiving I did, but like when the kids and everyone was like this year, like saying, "Oh, I love the decorations. I love how you guys do it every year." Like just saying stuff like even kids were saying that, like young kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, now I gotta take a step away a little bit, like grasp it all in, like how much of an impact my dad did make and how much the community as a whole, misses him. So
Was able to reflect and everything too, man. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just it's crazy to think the impact that one little thing like decorating your house, and I'm not saying that's it. I'm sure it was more, but
yeah,
for kids to walk up and even acknowledge like, man, that's wild that you guys go through this every year, and now the main reason behind that is gone is really hard to uh take in. Like you said, you got to take a step back and take in the moment and make sure you're really just seeing everything for what it is.
yep. So yeah, so to go back, I guess on the podcast because that's how it like went into the talk with my dad. And I can talk about more about my dad, future,
Mhm.
other stuff, what we talk about, Um, but yeah, the podcast, like, so we took a breather because of all that mainly. And then eventually we kept on trying to get back into it, but like we just couldn't get a date, or like we had a date, and then like the third guy, especially, like would be ghost, and like when and we didn't want to go like just us two, or just one, like we wanted all three of us to do it together.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like you did that one episode by yourself, and I'm sure you wanted TJ and Travis here with you.
Yeah, for sure.
But you prefer, all three of you, of course, to be here instead of just by yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean
So
the podcast is us three, and I mean we all have things come up, we all have things that happen, and it's just sometimes you got to just go with the flow. I don't want to miss an episode. That's just me, I guess. I don't know. I don't not that I don't want to miss an episode myself. I don't want to skip a week at all. Like
yeah,
the
no,
the
for sure.
episode that I did by myself, I didn't have to do that, but I didn't see a reason. Like there's no reason why we didn't do an episode that week type thing. I want to go as many weeks as possible before we say, hey, okay, this is going to be the end of, say, season 1, and then we're going to go into season 2 in, say, a month or two and take a little bit of a break and make a comeback. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with you don't want to, say, put off an episode or anything like that.
Yeah, and I see that with with your Twitch too, and being live for over 1,000 days. Like you were gonna take a break after 1,000, but you're still going. So
Yeah.
it's just the drive. Is this just the drive in you? You're like, well, and now you're going to the gym too. Like you have that drive as well.
Yeah, which,
So
by the way, fuck the gym. This shit sucks. I don't know why I talked myself into doing this.
dude, I mean
Yes.
that's so sorry. Like going back to college too, like going to the Rue House. That if no one knows,
Oh boy.
we went to SUNY Canton, and the Rue House is our gymnasium, and there's the weight room is one side, and then the basketball courts are right here. Okay, anytime I go there, no offense to the gym, I'm going to the basketball.
Yeah,
courts.
like
I walked right by the gym.
only a
man.
few times. Like we
Or
went for
the
like
only-
2 weeks or so, and
The only time I'll go into the gym, actually, like the workout gym, is if I didn't bring a basketball. Hey, can I have a basketball?
that, or if
Yeah,
somebody I knew was
seriously.
like working out, I'd go in, dap him up, talk to him for a
Yep.
little bit, and then go hoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if I were to work out, I'm not gonna play basketball after because of my arms. I'm gonna be shooting air balls all day. So I gotta work
Facts.
out after my basketball if I do play basketball.
That makes sense. I always went
Yeah.
through a couple weird phases with Cody Fowler going to the gym.
Mm,
I'd get up with him at like 5, hate myself. We'd talk about it on the way over, talk about it during, and then after as well.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
man.
back then my main area that I played at basketball till they like, renovated it was I was playing at Dana
Oh,
more
I
than Rue
fucking
House.
love Dana, bro.
Mm,
Going out there at like
Yeah.
2 a.m., hooping with the boys, just
Yep.
having a good time. Oh, it was
Yeah.
so
Now
much
Dana,
fun.
I would go at 1 or 2 in the morning
Because it was
every
open
time I didn't
24
have a
hours. It
morning
was
press.
so fire.
Yep. And I would just go there, put my music on the speaker. Yep.
Just thoom.
Obviously,
Yeah,
I
it's a
wasn't there
vibe.
when you guys were playing at Dana, but me and Kirby had some pretty good games in the Rue House there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The last time I think we did play, or one of the last times, was a couple of fraternity brothers and you and your
Yeah,
friends. And I don't think it was TJ. It was someone else, one of your friends, maybe. And
that was probably Tristan.
yeah. And
That was
like I
fun.
think you guys won because my friend Brett there, he like scored the final basket for you guys. I remember that. But
How
I
the
was on
fuck does
fire.
that happen?
What? That I lost
How
to
did he
Travis?
score the last basket for you guys?
Oh, well, he scored for Travis, but like his shot was so weird. But I played great defense too, and he just chucked it up there and it just
Oh,
went in.
that's Brett
Um,
Gleason, right? Who you're
yeah,
talking about?
that's the guy I'm talking
And
about.
he
Yeah.
scored for the opposing team.
Mhm.
Like,
Have you ever played basketball with this man again?
No.
he would have gotten flamed off the
Yeah,
court.
dude. I would
man.
have. He would have had to have leave. He would have had to have leave.
Yeah.
Leave
But
the
no, I
building.
mean, you can ask Travis though. That day, and been a bunch of other days, but that day I was like, my teammates weren't really scoring; like they were just defensive rebounding and kicking it out to me. Like I was the main. I scored like 15 points, and we lost like 21-19 or whatever.
I think we're talking about the same game because that's kind of what I was referring to. Me and you had a hell of a game on
Mhm.
opposite teams. It was
Yep.
it was a good one.
No, yeah. When I can catch fire, I don't lose sight. Like
And we have some.
there was one.
We have some chats right now saying Kirby was the god at half courts.
Oh yeah, Kyle. Yep.
Yeah. That
No,
you
so-
the
Half courts.
god of half courts.
So story with Kyle there. And I don't know if you know Kyle. I think you're
Yeah.
eventually gonna put him on the podcast too.
Yeah.
But Kyle, myself, and I don't know if you know Trayvon, my fraternity brother back
Mhm.
then.
Yeah,
We
Trayvon's
were-
really cool. I haven't talked to him in a
Yeah.
little bit, but
Yep. So we were trying to think Heritage. I almost drew a blank of where I was living, but I just saw Travis's camera too.
just gonna move past that.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I knew you were laughing about that. So, but yeah, I was living in
That was
Heritage,
funny.
and we were in the new wing, the renovated wing that got made, and we were East 103, so we called ourselves East 103 like squad, like that was a 3-on-3 like team. And
Yeah, he just said hashtag for life.
Yep, he just said it. Yeah, but we would play 3-on-3s, and like Kyle would, the only shot he could make is that shot, like in the corner where like you're behind the hoop.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he made that. That's his only shot he can make. Like he made it behind that. I don't know, but he would make that, and then Trayvon would look like Zach Randolph out there, just doing like little
Zach
little
Randolph.
breakdowns, and then like a little like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar almost, But no, we had some runs.
That's actually how
Back then
me,
we-
you, and Trayvon all met. Was my freshman year. We all met on the outdoor courts,
Yep.
and that's how we started going to your frat house.
hmm Yeah, and before East 103 squad too. My freshman year when I used to, I was 18 years old and I had a lot of stamina back then. I still kind of do, but I get winded after like one or two like full core games now. I can't play anymore. Back then I could play like 5 hours straight and be okay. And but I would play like till we would lose, and I would win like 5-6 straight games, and then I'm like, all right, eventually I'll get lunch, and I'll go back there to play. After that,
Go
like,
get lunch.
yeah.
Refuel,
Cheney,
then I'll
dude.
head back.
Fire.
Go get
Yeah.
a burger and fries
Cheney.
and change.
Cheney
And
was
honestly,
awesome
like
there.
we made fun of Cheney, I think, but like it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you.
Nah, especially
really
the new
wasn't.
one. When it got renovated, it was still really good.
It was
Yeah,
solid.
like-
The
Well,
6
like,
months
they
that
brought the,
Dana became Cheney was fucking awful, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. When they renovated, they built the stir fry section, and that was my
that was
section.
banging too.
Mhm.
The
And I never,
burritos,
you know
the
what?
sandwiches, the salad bar was gas.
Yeah, the paninis
Hey,
too.
I'm gonna be honest for a
The
minute. For me and TJ,
paninis, bro. Yes. What?
I said for me and TJ, Cheney was fire because we were always high when we went.
Bro, anything could have been fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean we were.
Story on Cheney too is like my freshman year. So my freshman year was 2014. So I'm an oldie. I know.
Old head.
Kane's saying he's 25 and old. I'm 26 and old. So, but my freshman year, I only had like 5 friends. Like I didn't I didn't go to parties. I didn't do anything my freshman year.
No wonder you can't get up and down the court, bud.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
old.
But yeah, we would go there and then we would fight over like going to, like we would all have to go to the bathroom right after we were done with Cheney. Like we called it the Cheney Court.
Yeah.
That's what.
Before it was renovated, bro, it was pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Cheney.
Like you knew
Cheney
by the
had
time
that
you walked
effect,
back
bro.
up the hill to the suites, you were gonna have to take a shit.
Yeah, and like especially my freshman year, like that was I think the coldest year I was up there. It with wind chill it got up to -30, and I had to walk up the hill to wherever class I had to go to. Like I forget what wing it was, but
Bro, we were saying the same thing. I think like last week on the last
well,
episode about the
it's
halls. What the fuck were the halls called?
There's
Dude, oh my
Wicks,
God.
right?
Yeah,
Wicks?
so Wicks is the far one closest to the library.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's Cook.
there's
but what-
MacArthur, I think.
MacArthur's the tall one.
MacArthur,
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's the one closest to like
Dude.
Rushton and Heritage? I cannot fucking remember.
I know.
Jason?
Well, Kyle, if you're still in the chat, maybe you can help. I don't know.
Started with a P.
but-
Yeah, started with a P.
Payson, bro.
Payson?
Yeah,
it's
Payson Hall.
familiar.
Payson?
Yeah, that's I
Yeah.
think that's right. Yeah.
Payson
Yeah,
doesn't
what I
sound
had-
right.
Yeah, so I think it's I don't know.
Bro,
I
going
think it
back
is
to
Payson, man.
Cheney. Going back to Cheney real quick, I miss the
Okay.
Chipotle mayo that fucking Stoonie Canton had, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, remember the
I
cheese
wanted
fries?
buckets, man.
Oh, the cheese
yeah.
fries were banging.
Yeah, dude.
I
So
don't.
when it was the old
No, I
Cheney
don't.
and they had the burger side and then the
Mhm.
like meal side,
The burritos
on the
and
burger side, they had a cheese, like a nacho cheese machine that you would
Yep.
get the fries with the burger and then you'd walk over and get the cheese sauce. Yeah. It's
stuff. Yeah,
funny.
you would squirt it. You just got to
Yeah.
be careful you don't get that shirt. But yeah.
Freshman 30 real quick.
But there was
Oh,
a funny
wow,
story too when I was a freshman or maybe even sophomore too. They had this section. It was like I don't know if it was every day, but it was certain days. There was like these chicken sandwiches, and they had buffalo sauce there too. And I didn't really put buffalo sauce on my chicken. I put like barbecue or whatever. But like this old lady was like, "Hey, like, would you want buffalo sauce on your chicken?" I'm like, "I don't know." And she's like, "You know, if you put buffalo sauce on your chicken, it'll like put hair on your chest." I'm like, "Really?" All right, like I was
Motherfucker
18,
believed
I
it.
didn't have it. So I kept on eating them, and now I have a bunch of hair on my chest. So I guess it worked out.
Yo,
you know?
yeah,
It
shout
was
out
the
buffalo, sauce.
It
Shout
was a
out
buffalo
buffalo
sauce.
That's funny.
Said in the chat,
Maybe I should
Cook,
have did that back then.
Neville Don. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Neville Dine, because that says Neville Don.
I think Neville Dine was the arts one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the
so
arts and,
Neville
like,
Dine,
architecture.
Wicks, Payson, MacArthur, Dana, and then Newell.
So I think Wicks and Payson were the ones we went to, right?
Yeah, we
Mainly for our classes.
Wicks was like always. So Wicks was the closest one to Dana, right? Right after the MacArthur Tower, because that's where all the sports management stuff was. Cook
Yeah.
was the closest one to the library. Payson was the one that connected to the fucking learning thing or the center, whatever the fuck.
Where like the underground, like where like the food places were underground. Like, is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Like rendezvous and
yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
rendezvous. Yep.
Word.
Now, like, all right, so I don't know if you guys had it. I forget if they took it away before you guys got there. But Rendezvous used to have a Taco Bell, direct subs,
Yeah,
and
that
KFC.
was taken away the year before I got there, I guess.
Yep, they took that away,
What?
and they took McDonald's away in Canton.
Mm-hmm.
But then they built,
Damn,
but then they
bro.
built.
He like
Yeah.
Drex slapped.
Dude, I used to get the KFC either Famous Bowl, or I would go to the Taco Bell and get the loaded grillers back then.
Taco Bell, bro, is just a
Most
blessing.
valid option.
Hey,
Taco
guys,
Bell really is heaven.
Or
sent.
I can dip my loaded grillers in the Famous Bowl.
Yo, Taco Bell, if you want to sponsor us,
That's the one. That in Arizona.
we'll take it.
Yeah.
guys, my New Year's
We-
resolution is to lose weight, so we're gonna need to not talk
Yeah,
about this
probably not
because I
Taco
will
Bell,
make a
but
trip
Wendy's is a
tonight.
little bit better choice.
Love Wendy's too.
Oh, Wendy's.
Me and
Travis
TJ have
and
been
I
on
have
the
been on
Wendy's
a-
tear.
Yeah, bro, we have gotten Wendy's a ton lately.
I
God.
got one of those apple pecan salads and a couple chicken nuggets today.
Bro,
trying to eat a little healthier.
we got to get back on track here, boys. We had some fucking questions for you, and we've just kind of been rambling for like 25 minutes.
Okay.
First question is just kind of how has sports impacted your life, man? Like, when, at what age did you realize, like, damn, I fucking love sports. I love football. I love basketball. And how do you think that, like, what was that moment? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I guess my first moment was like I was young, like I was like 4 when I started like liking sports, but I don't like you don't really remember when you're 4, I guess. I would say more like 6 or 7 is when I started like actually like paying attention to sports and liking them.
Yeah.
But I guess when I was like when the Rams were in the Super Bowl in 2000 against the Titans, and I was like almost 4, I was like 3.5. I guess I was cheering up and down for them. So I guess I technically was always a Rams fan. So yeah,
Poor guy.
but no, when I was like 6 or 7 or 8 around that time, I just remember my dad like told like we were in like a JC Penney or maybe I don't know where we were, but my dad told my brother and I like, hey, like there's a bunch of college hats or over there, like go find one that you like. So we went over there and like the first college team I saw and I'm still a fan of them too is I'm a Kentucky basketball fan, so. I saw the Wildcat and the old Wildcat logo just spoke to me. Like it just looked like a cool logo.
Yeah.
And my brother chose the UCLA Bruins hat back then too.
Love the Bruins.
So yeah, so
you picked a better option, ball
yeah. Well,
wise. That's for sure.
he's kind of not a UCLA fan anymore. Like he's more just I don't know. He's not. He's Alabama now. That's pretty much where he eventually found his way. But yeah. But yeah, no, like Kentucky was one of my, I guess, first like sports likes, but I guess when I was always younger and still growing up, I always like paid attention to score. I had the weird memory of like knowing every score that happened that day. Like I could tell you could ask me like a week ago what was the score, and I could tell you look it up like, oh wait, how'd you know that? Like stuff like that. Like I was just weird like that, and I would kind of spoil
Mike Ross.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Like I was like, yeah, like Rayman pretty much. Like I just like rambled off like bunch of that's not what it is? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh, I've always got that phrase, like people call me that before, I don't know. But
people call it Rain Man?
Like it's not like not Raymond like the show, but like the guy, but like
I thought you were saying Rain Man. Like Rain Man.
Like
no. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was gonna say that's quite the compliment on a basketball court.
Yeah.
That makes you feel good
on
about
the basketball
yourself.
court, I was called the White Isaiah Thomas or
White Isaiah.
I feel like for a while that was probably a compliment, but not anymore.
Well, because we're both 5'9" and we're both lefties, so it made sense.
I'm also lefty. Good shit, man.
Yep, left-handed, right-minded.
Fuck the lefties.
But like in sports like that, like I would kind of spoil scores for my dad. Like he would be like not in the room, and then like I would say, hey, like did you see the score of this? And I'll say it, and like, hey, I didn't want to know that. I want to find out myself. Like I would just ramble off sports like that. But yeah, like choosing colleges too. Like I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And we just looked through catalogs, and my dad was like, well, I know you love sports a lot, so you have a passion for it. So why don't you look for something that's evolved like similar to that? And I looked at there's choices, not just sports management, but it was like physical therapy. I thought about announcing or broadcasting there, and I thought about being a statistician. That was the first thing I thought about.
That's one thing I've been told is like I have a really good voice to do broadcasting, and I would love to do it, but I don't know where
you
to begin.
Totally could, Kane.
Yeah, I don't know where to begin. I was doing it at work the other day, bro, and I was just like ripping it off. Like they had the TV muted, and I was just like talking like I was the announcer, and they're like, "Bro, you're in the wrong career field. You need to fucking get out of here."
Yeah. Well,
bro.
Well, I always thought that too.
Like
in high school, especially one of my English teachers told me, like, she said, "Hey, like, you have a really good like voice." Like, I hit puberty probably around sophomore, junior year. That's when I started getting my deep voice actually, and like they were like, "Yeah, like you're really fluent with your words. Like, you just like have a voice for like radio." Is what they were
At least
And,
they
like,
didn't
radio
say you
people
have
are-
a face for a radio. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, radio people don't really show themselves. You only hear them for the most
Yeah.
part.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But,
a joke, Curb.
Hey, well, I'm on
Yeah,
your
no
podcast.
shit,
I'm showing
buddy.
my face now, so I'm sure people are not like clicking off your stream now.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
But
So-
yeah, you go on.
How did you become a Dallas Mavericks fan? Like, obviously, I mean, when we were growing up, we
Here we
had
go.
pretty much prime Dirk. Now you got Luka. I mean, let's talk
Dog.
about how did it happen? Dog, and he's got that dog, baby.
We got lucky. Nah, like I've always, I don't know how I exactly got into it, but I just like started watching NBA, and at the time when I was watching, like Dirk was one of the best players. And he was just different. I never seen a 7-footer just shoot like that.
Built different.
Yeah, he was just built different.
Dirk was
and-
nasty.
And honestly though, the Mavericks were like, we were bad before Dirk. We were real bad for a while.
Also bad before
And-
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, before Mark Cuban too. And once we got Mark Cuban, once we got Dirk and like certain players, like Dirk never. I don't think he had one losing season, or maybe he had one. Like it was like barely anything. Like he always had winning seasons. Like we were always top tier with the Spurs and Lakers. And
I did see a
Celtics.
cool stat about Luka too recently, that if he averages his current stats, like that he's averaged through his first whatever years, if he averages over the course of his career, he'll have like, I think it was like 35,000 plus points, 13,000 rebounds, and 12,000 assists, which will be the first like player ever to have that or some shit. I was
Oh,
like, that's
yeah.
fucking insane.
Yeah, no. If he
Speaking-
plays at least like 15 seasons, he'll beat LeBron's point record that he just beat, like Wilt Chamberlain or whatever. it is. So
That's gonna be tough.
He's
But
catching
he's-
Kareem, bro.
he's-
LeBron's
he's played
catching
5
Kareem.
years. He hasn't really had too many injuries, so hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah.
that he-
Kirby, I gotta ask you something, man.
Yeah.
So, as a Knicks fan, and I don't want to hear any bullshit from the three of you right now,
As a
I
what?
haven't had
Knicks
the
fan.
best luck, right? So, as a Mavs fan, how does it feel to go from having a player like Dirk to instantly having someone like Luka on your team? Like that's got to
Um,
be.
I mean,
You
we
know?
either were gonna get him or Trey, and either way, I would have been happy. But of course, like Luca is that guy.
Yeah, what a trade on draft night, man.
That's probably
Wow.
one of the most fairest trades ever. Like, I mean, yeah, Luca's better, but like Trey's still like he's got
All-star.
ice in his
He's a
veins.
dog too. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel bad for Knicks fans because like honestly, you guys are always like you should have a top pick, and then you bounce back somehow. Like you never get that, and then when you do have a pick, you just miss on it. I don't
Porzingis.
know.
But so
Bro,
far,
Porz-
Brunson has been working out.
Porzingis was good, and like
Nah,
right
nah,
up
really,
to the
he
point
was
he was
solid.
traded, man.
He was even good with
Then he
Bucks.
just
I mean,
fell off, in my opinion.
He's still
tonight,
good. He's just underrated
scored
now.
20 something tonight. Like he's been good for the Wizards since he's been healthy. So
I was gonna say for
Also,
Washington.
there
I
was a
think it
game the other night, bro, that was like, it was the fucking Magic or the Wizards versus like someone fucking ridiculous like the Bucks. I want to say it was the Magic, and the Magic like blew them the fuck out by like 25.
Yeah.
Of course, I bet on the Bucks.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's besides the point. Like I was watching that game and I was like, "Are you fucking serious, man? Like
Yep.
fuck this team. They haven't won in 10 games. They decided to win against the fucking Eastern Conference Finals champions.
My
think-
Brooklyn
well-
Nets have won 12 in a row now.
Fuck this.
yeah, they're right
So-
there. They're like a
Yeah.
game back from the Celtics or something like that.
We're looking good.
Yep.
Which
But no,
was
yeah,
Shit.
rocky in the beginning. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. Yeah, to answer your question, I pretty much already kind of answered, I guess. But like, yeah, like Dirk was just that guy. I was a Dirk fan. I was, I always liked Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. Vince Carter was one of my favorites too.
Game.
Vince Carter
my
is
favorite player of
one
all
of
time.
my favorites of all time.
Second player
Yeah,
of
for
all
sure.
time, Terrence Ross. Go.
Oh yeah.
Terrence
yeah.
Ross,
I fucking
bro.
love
I don't know.
Terrence Ross. Bro.
He's
Not gonna lie though,
dog.
Terrence Ross was a beast in 2K though. His slam
fucking-
dunk like package is
Fact.
crazy.
I love Terrence
Facts,
Ross.
bro.
Yep.
Rookie
Yo,
of the year,
Dirk just
dunk
got that
contest.
statue. Speaking
Yeah,
of Dirk,
so
Yeah, it was fire.
yeah, Dirk got that statue, and then like Luca just had that crazy game, but like, not that much after. And then like everyone's like, Kevin Garnett's like, well, Luca's gonna have a statue right next to him.
Did you guys?
Luka's like, I'm getting a statue.
Who's talking about it? I think his name's Nick. I can't remember his last name. big analyst for the NBA, was talking about how he
I know
thinks
who you're talking about.
LeBron's
Long
going to have
hair.
like 3 statues. He's obviously getting the one in Cleveland.
Oh, Nick Wright. Yep.
Lakers. Nick
Yeah.
Wright.
And
yes.
he doesn't think he's going to get one for Miami because D Wade's faced the franchise and blah, 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 which makes sense. But I cannot see him getting one in LA.
For the Lakers? I
No
can't
way.
either, bro.
Of
They got
all
Rainbow
the
Image. It
players,
was a
like
Mickey
in
Mouse
the
bowl, so-
franchise history, there's no way LeBron gets a statue out there.
No,
Not for the Lakers. I think
all the guys that have been there before him.
I think for Cleveland,
no.
for sure.
Yeah, Cleveland and Miami.
guaranteed. Miami, I could see that argument, honestly, with D Wade being the face of
I
everything.
can't see him getting one in Miami just because of D Wade.
Yeah, because I mean Miami did something. You know, they already won some stuff before LeBron, but LeBron did help out with the.
Bro, the way
Travis.
the light went out and he just went, okay.
All right.
We're kind of moving on from sports a little bit is you mentioned you were in a frat. I wanted to ask you how you didn't join your freshman year. You joined kind of like your sophomore year. How did you decide you wanted to join the frat, and what was the rushing process like? If you can tell us anything.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I mean, like usually we're not like for rushing we can, pledging we're not supposed to, but I don't really care. But like,
Oh,
well, let's
I mean, like,
dive in.
That's what we like to hear.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna go in depth with it, but like I'll like tell pretty much what it is. But
Oh yeah, don't send anyone to jail or nothing. But
no, but I actually pledged my junior year.
Word.
So yeah, so like that's even farther back than a sophomore, of course. But the main reason I kind of did like I was friends with like half the group already before I pledged in. I knew Trayvon, I knew a bunch of other guys already. And I was going through a hard path. Like my summer before that was like tough. Like I was losing like my actual family. Like my grandfather passed on my brother's graduation day in June that year.
damn.
Yeah, we were getting the
That
call
is-
during the graduation, but of course we're not going to answer that that time because we're at the ceremony.
Yeah.
And then we always go with my grandparents after to like get pictures and hug them and whatever. And so then we got the call like there, so it was tough,
Yeah, holy.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, so like and we saw him the day before too, so we knew it was coming soon, but we just didn't think it was gonna be the next day.
Yeah.
He had esophagus and bone cancer. He was turning yellow, so we knew his kidneys were shutting down. So yeah, so
Damn.
we were going through that, or I was going through that, and then also, my parents were going through a rough path of, maybe divorce and everything too. And my grandmother, that was married to my grandfather, she had breast cancer for 3 years and was battling it, so she was dealing with it too. So I was dealing with a lot that year, and I actually got my so funny story too with my driver's license. I got my license eventually, but I actually got hit on my driving test. And a lot of people can't say that. I don't think anyone.
How the fuck did
shit.
that happen?
So I was 2 streets in, and this old guy, didn't know it was an old guy, but I had a feeling, just like pulls over, doesn't use his blinker. I'm like, all right. I wait like 30, maybe 20 seconds or whatever. He's not moving. He's not getting out. I'm like, all right. I look behind me. No one's coming. I start veering, passing him. Once I go trying to pass him, he starts not using his blinker again. Started trying to go across the road to like some store or whatever. Hits me in the bumper. My whole bumper falls off into the road. And so the whole bumper falls on the road. The driver instructor's like, just pull this out. You didn't do anything wrong. Just like pull this side up. All right. The guy gets out. He's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, like pretty much thinking it's my fault for like being in his way or whatever. And
Being in his way.
yeah. So like she gets
Oh, man.
out. She's like, just stay in the car. Like, I'll try to handle this, whatever. And he's like, hey, he's like, it's his fault and all. Like, he's like, I wanna fight him. Like, what? Like, you're 60 whatever years old trying to fight me
It's
at
on site.
like 19. Yeah.
What the
At
fuck?
19,
did
I'm
you
ready.
pass?
Yeah.
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 What
He
happened
did
with
not
that?
pass.
Did you pass?
No.
Oh, so like continue the story though. So there's a lot more to go with it. So like he actually she's like go on or like so he actually opened up my door because it was unlocked or whatever. there was a witness that like closed it with the driver instructor. Eventually, I locked it after that, but um, so like he's like
Holy shit!
he punched the window, didn't do any damage though. Like so eventually before
To
the
his
cops got
hand.
there, he was like help help and like we're like what we saw everything like we yelling help for. So then eventually the cop shows up and he's like, oh thank goodness you're here. Like all this stuff like they take both our stuff. I'm calling my mom like 10 plus times because she's at the pole like waiting for me to be done. And
Like,
she's
the
not
hell is
answering.
On
going
her phone, just being like, "How is he calling me right now?
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna fail."
Yeah, like she's not answering me. Eventually, she answers me. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, thanks for finally answering." I'm like, I could have been, something worse, whatever. But I'm like, hey, I'm 2 streets away. I got an accident. Like, just come. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, just come here. I'm good. Just come. So eventually, gets there. They collect the copies. I'm like number 2 technically on the thing, and technically I was 25% wrong because I didn't use my blinker to pass him either. Like stupid, but whatever. Like he didn't use his blinker
What
twice.
the?
Yeah. So eventually, like, yeah. So like the driver instructor's like, I feel bad. Like, usually of course you have to like sign up again and whatever. But she's like, if you can get another workable car here, like within the next 2 hours, I'll let you I'll let you drive again. I'm like, all right. So I call my friend.
Workable.
Yeah.
That's
I call my
fire,
friend.
though.
My friend has a Subaru Forester, and it was his baby back then. Never let even his parents drive it. And I was like, he said no to me at first when I asked him. I'm like, dude, come on, like I need something. And he's
Hey,
like, all
dude,
right,
come
how
on.
much left you got in your test? I said, oh, just the parallel parking. Even though I knew I had to do the whole thing. So he's like, all right. So we go. So before we get to Fulton, because I'm taking this to Oswego, so right next door, pretty much. The cop says you either have to have your bumper tape back on to drive back to Fulton, or you have to get it towed back. Well, there's a bunch of neighbors that had duct tape, and they duct taped that bumper back on. And yeah, like they were the heroes of that day.
So did you
There
you
pass
go.
the second time though?
Yeah, we drove back. I came back with a Subaru Forester, and he wouldn't even let me to drive it to Oswego. Like he let me just drive it for the test. and I drove it on the test, passed it, and I'm like, well, now I got my license, but your car's wrecked, Mom. Sorry.
To
Yeah,
wait to
that's-
thrive under pressure, though, after getting in an accident, I don't know if I'd be able to do that at that
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
down
it wasn't like a
0-1 to start the season. Fucking.
I mean, it wasn't like a serious, like it wasn't like something like crazy, but like I was like, all right, like
Just
I
the
gotta,
fact, like, it's your first time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So like, yeah, so going through all that, and going back to the fraternity, like I was like, all right, I'm losing some family, like I'm going through a lot of hardships here. I'm like, I know half these guys already. I'm not even like before I even joined or whatever. I barely drank ever in my life. I never smoked in my life before it. Um, I went to one party before it, like just like a non family party, like one like, and I didn't even drink there. So like, and the funny story is that was my freshman year. I went to a party and I didn't even drink, and I walked back to my dorm, and like that weekend it was like parents' weekend or whatever, and like my roommate's parents thought I was like a partier because I went to one party and I didn't even do anything. Like so, um,
oh boy.
but yeah, so like I knew like half the guys, but I was like, all right, I kind of want a second family away from family. Like a lot of my friends I had my first 2 years like were transfers or like I didn't have too many of them anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I went to the rushes. I didn't really like I drank a little bit, but like I didn't go crazy or whatever. And then so the Russian was like all these like themes. So like each day, like the social of the group of the fraternity comes up with a theme, and you like it's usually the fraternity by themselves at times, or it's with the sororities too. So with their pledges as well. So
Word.
we would just like do themes like a Hawaiian theme or like a toga or it's just stuff like that, and like just get to know the fraternity brothers more at their like yeah you're like playing pawn and whatever, but you're also like talking one on one or a couple groups or whatever. So and it's
Word.
just pretty much getting you to want to like pledge for them. Um, and then like the pledging process is more like it's kind of like a boot camp, I would say. Doing a lot of like actual like push ups and wall sits and bicycle kicks and all that, all
So
that
you didn't have to
extra
do
stuff.
anything like fucking wild, or like did you? And you just can't say what it was.
No. So, I mean, yeah, we would have to like not like something crazy, but so like the last week of the week is called Hell Week, and then the last night is Hell Night, and like the last week you had to like sleep at the house for the last week, instead of your dorms and stuff. So we were like there all day, all night, whatever. We would get done around like those nights would go longer. Like the first week and maybe almost 2 weeks, you end at like you start at like I think 8 and you end it at like 11 maybe. Like it'd be a couple hours. But then like the last week you would go to like 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning at least, you know? And the Hell Night, we would wake up early in the morning, like whenever first person had class, so like 8 o'clock or whatever, maybe 7:30. And we're all up, like we can't go back to sleep once one person's up. And I pledged with 2 other people, so it was like 3 of us.
Yeah.
And so in the Hell Week too, we had to like do like other stuff for the brothers there. Like we had to like, you know, maybe bring their laundry to the washer and dryer. We had to
5v1 hockey for your brothers, huh?
yeah. We just had to do stuff for them or whatever without saying like we can't say no. Pretty much no. They won't make us do something crazy, but like do it. But we had a campground too, and we would go there and we would like had to like collect firewood. We had to like one time I got can't even think of what it was, but it was like supposed to be in my hair, but then it like dripped and like started almost getting in my eyes, and they had to like splash water so I could see. I forget what it was exactly, but I had like sardines in my shoes, like so like they would tell us like don't wear like nice sneakers. I almost ruined my Mellow 11s. I had Mellow 11s back then.
Oh, what color, bro? What colorway?
They were the purple, blue, and white ones, and orange a little bit.
Those are fire.
Those were like actually one of my favorite shoe, and it's a funny story in those. I bought those, and I didn't even know who they were. Like I got home, I'm like, huh, I wonder if it's a player or something. I just saw they were Jordans, I like look at them like, wait, who's autograph or like who's like signatures that? And I'm like, it says in a ton, it says Mellow. I'm like, oh, all right, I get Carmelos, I guess.
Damn. So you had like the purple, light blue, like pinkish color ones?
It was mainly purple and blue, and then it was like a white base with purple and blue and orange like on the bottom, like the.
I think these ones are it. I'm looking them up.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, Hell Night though, like like I said, we would wake up. Yeah, Hell Night we would wake up early. Do like if we didn't have classes, we had to be there like doing stuff for them, whatever. Funny thing was like I was the only one that was like really good at like sports and fantasy football in my pledge group. So like my pledge master would like make me like help him with fantasy lineups and stuff. Like like I would have to come out. I had to be like Matthew Berry and be like top 5 quarterbacks this week, top whatever. Like I had to do that for him.
That's kind of fire though. That's fun.
Yeah, it was funny. One time we got dared to like push him, like he was sleeping on like a bench, and we had to push him over, like just like we would have to do funny shit sometimes, like just to like get in trouble, and then we had to like get down and do push up, whatever, just do discipline. So there was no win in it really,
Yeah.
But yeah, Hell Night, like we would get back like late, and we would just have to do a bunch of like housework, like fixing up the attic, like organizing it. We had to paint a lot. We had to remember like songs and history, like pledge classes and stuff, and so it's like boot camp with like some spin to it, but also like you're learning like the history of the fraternity too. So
yeah.
And you get
Sounds
tested
like a
on
lot.
it. Like pretty much they're saying if you fail the test, like you're done, but it's not really like reality. Like it's like they're just is a scare tactic pretty much. Like
Yeah.
unless the only way you're not gonna make it is if you just don't show. Like showing up is the hardest thing about pledging, really.
Word.
Like you don't want to keep on doing it, but like it's just 3 weeks. I can get through this. Once it's over, it's over. Like, and then the worst part, I guess, one of the worst parts was like shaving my head. I had to be bald after it for a bit. So
Fuck that, dude.
Nah,
yeah, with
I'd
your
be
hair,
out right
I don't
there.
think I could see you doing it, but.
I'd be out right there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, nah, I'm not
See, they
paying
don't-
money for friends. I'm
Yeah,
good.
see, they don't really tell you that till like you're already like far kind of into it, so it's your choice really at that moment. But
Yeah, but like if you
and what
back
they do-
out,
tough.
like you're fucked. Like
yeah, and what they do is like they don't like just cut it all at once. Like they make you look like silly at one point. Like they'll shave like a part of it and like let you do more stuff and then come back, you know. And
I'm
so
out, bro. I am
yep, and
all
you have like
in.
all this like gross sticky, like it's just like they pouring stuff whatever on, like you just get that hazing on it, you know. Yeah, but
Yeah, you
no
do
like
get
no
it.
touching, no like gay stuff, like you know.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, care to elaborate?
Oh wait, sorry, it's 2023. Can't probably say that.
I mean, I don't have any more questions unless you guys do. That was kind of all I
I
wanted
don't
to
think
touch
so.
on.
I'm gonna do a double check, but
Yeah, I just went through my list and made sure.
the only one I have is that you and Kane are in car sales. I just wanted to ask you how that's going
Yep.
for you
Yeah,
versus how it's going for Kane.
yeah, I'm sure it's different between me and Kane what we do, and
For sure.
different states and stuff too. Of course, New York people are probably more ruthless than people down in Tennessee, but I'm not sure about that.
You would be surprised, my friend.
Yeah, they follow you wherever you go.
Pretty
Um,
much.
but I mean, it's not getting easier for us. Customers still have to buy something, so like you're gonna still, most likely sell, a good amount of vehicles. Um, but like lease program rates have doubled to triple. Like you're not gonna get the same lease payment you got 3 years ago. You just
I've
gotta
been
own
in
up
car
to it.
business for 2 years and I have not once done a lease.
Really,
Not one fucking time.
I
Wow.
do. Most of
Leases
my new
suck.
vehicles I sell is leases.
Leases suck, dude. Like GM leases are fucking terrible. Dodge leases are awful. The only companies that lease well anymore are like Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai. And even now they fucking suck.
I saw a BMW commercial for a lease, and it was like $829 a month for 36 months or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely
no.
insane.
Yeah, so like with that, like Equinox payments used to be like in the threes on a lease usually. Now they're like at least the fours, maybe fives. Like they've gone up at least $150. It's
And like
crazy.
realistically, like if you're gonna lease a new this is just my like opinion. If you're gonna lease a brand new Equinox,
Yep.
buy a fucking 2 to 3 year old one that's still within manufacturer's warranty from a place that offers a lifetime powertrain. Because it's gonna be 20 grand in fucking 3 years anyways.
Yeah.
And then
So
you're
like,
still gonna be at $400.
so that's what we do though is like for used vehicles, and we only can do it for GM products, of course, but we can
Yeah.
certify them. And
See,
with
we don't
certification,
certify.
yeah, like certain dealerships can't. Like you have to have like the program or
Yeah,
like
you have to pay to be a part of the program. That's all it is.
Yep. Which we do.
We do not.
So yeah.
See, when I worked at Mitsubishi, we didn't certify cars. It was
But
Yeah,
see,
so
we also offer a lifetime powertrain on anything that's 5 years or newer and under 100,000 miles.
Yeah,
Lifetime,
see, we don't do
that
that,
you
but-
can own the vehicle for 20 years and put 600,000 miles on it, and it's a lifetime powertrain. As long as you don't go modifying the powertrain, you're good.
Well, I know Kia does like I think 20 year 200,000, something crazy too. So, but yeah, for our certification, like it'd be like a 12-month 12,000 bumper to bumper added, and a 6 year or 100,000 powertrain. So you get a longer powertrain on a used certified than you do a brand new one. New one you only get 5 year 60. So, and then you get 2 years of inspections, oil changes, and tire rotations. Where as a brand new one, you only get like one oil change for free now, from us.
We don't
And
do that.
inspect tire like so you get 2 years compared to just one time thing. So it's kind of nice. But yeah, with lease program rates are crazy, and then like even interest rates have gone up so much too. Interest rates
have gone
are
up ridiculous amounts.
the lowest we can get like in one of our main banks we go through. And I don't know if you guys,
Go ahead.
Travis might know like Empower. I don't know if you guys have Empowers around your area too.
I don't know what that is.
But it's a bank in our area at least.
I
But
have no idea.
yeah.
We have like
haven't
30
heard of it.
fucking banks that we're partnered with, so.
Yeah, we do like 15 or 20, but like pretty much like the lowest on that one is like maybe 6-7% for the best people now. Like back then it it was 2-3-4%. It's going up 3-4% at least like on everything. So
Yeah, I mean, if interest rates right now are ridiculous, man. I mean, Not even just that, but the market's changed drastically. I mean, we've had vehicles that we buy last week, and the market's changed 11% on that vehicle in 3 days. Like, shit like that. It's just makes car business a little tough. Makes everything a little tough, especially when pay plans change and shit like that. So, I don't really like talking about work outside of work. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, it is one of my.
I just wanted people to know that he was in the same
Yeah.
area as you right now. So
No, we have a lot of I guess common interests. We both went to SUNY camp for sports management. We're both selling cars. It's just funny.
Word. We
You know,
indeed
and
do
then
that.
Travis and I both have Infiniti Q50s too. So
I forget, man.
You got a Q.
You got
Good
one.
for you.
yep, I've had mine since last September. So I've had it for a year and couple 4 months or whatever now. But
Nice.
yep, no, I didn't get souped up or anything like Travis was thinking about souping his up. But
It's in the
then
process.
mine just hit 56,000 miles.
It's in the
something like that.
process.
It's got a while.
What year's your car?
It's a 18.
Word.
Yep.
Word.
I got a good deal on it, and I sold my Camry, or I traded in, got equity out of that before I traded to get Infiniti. So then I get
There
a
you
fully
go.
discount with Infiniti. So
Solid. Well, I mean, I think that's all we had on tap to talk tonight. We kind of touched base a little bit on everything that we wanted to talk about. I heard a couple funny stories.
Yeah,
but
man.
if y'all don't have any other questions for good old Curb Appeal, do you have any questions for us?
I think I had to answer Jeff's question.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into next.
Yep. But yeah, before that, I don't really have too much to talk about. I think we crossed everything pretty much.
Word. All right. Well, I mean, feel free to
Yeah.
answer Jeff's question because I don't remember what Jeff's question was.
It was what team was better, Michael Jordan's?
Oh, I do
Bulls
remember that now.
or-
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know
Curry
what
I'm
Warriors-
very curious.
Yeah, I don't know what
That's
Warriors you're talking
crazy.
about. Is it 73 and 19 before KD or with KD?
Yes, I asked him. Yeah, it's a 73 and 9, no KD.
Okay, no KD.
So Harrison Barnes at the 3.
Yeah.
Go.
So I would my answer. I like that Warriors team. Other than being a Mavericks fan, I really like Curry a lot too, and Clay. That team was just electric. And Harrison Barnes eventually went to Mavericks because we couldn't get KD. Stupid, but whatever. I can't remember, or I can't forget that July 4th day. But yeah, I would go with the Bulls because the Bulls had never went to Game 7s. They got Scottie Pippen, Jordan. They're both great offensively, but also great defensively. I think Curry and Thompson. Thompson's good defensively, but Curry's kind of a liability on defense.
So
And-
are we talking just 96 Bulls versus the record-setting Warriors then?
That
Yeah,
was
what
the
year
question.
was that?
Yeah,
95,
so
96.
the 95-96 Bulls were 72-10, and then the 73-9 Warriors.
Yeah.
Because see, my
So, yeah.
outlook on it is if you
In
take the Bulls and
2016.
put them in today's game, the Warriors win. But if you take the Warriors and put them in that time, the Warriors get destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think either way, I think Michael Jordan would he's a competitor.
But I don't
do
think so
they?
because
They
there's going to be
stretch the
fucking
floor.
100 fouls. Michael Jordan's going to get fouled out.
Everyone's sitting in the paint though. If the Warriors went back
Well,
then,
if
everyone's
you
sitting in the
think about it,
paint.
Jordan made it to the paint so many times, he probably would get fouled and have James Harden stats of free throws.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just think
He would
Jordan
probably
would
average
end up getting
45
fouled
in the
out.
finals.
Same
at
thing,
least.
Rodman definitely gets fouled out.
Rodman's
Yeah, I can see
done in the
that.
first
It-
quarter.
Yeah.
No, him and Draymond are gonna butt heads and both get kicked out.
Yeah, they're both going to get
Yeah,
two
they'll probably
technicals
fight
in the
each
first
other.
5 minutes of the game.
so let's take those two away. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
we have Curry and Thompson and Jordan Pippen. I'm gonna take Jordan Pippen on that.
in a
one.
2v2 half court game, yeah. I don't think that's a
I'm,
question.
I'm taking that Bulls in a 5.
I'm
like
gonna
a
take the Bulls
normal
as well.
game.
But yeah,
Like in a
see the
normal
other thing
game.
is Luke Longley. I don't think anyone on the Warriors for center wise can match up with Luke Longley either.
See, Luke Longley, they had Tony Kukoc. You know what I mean? He was a
Yep.
great scorer.
Steve Kerr was on that 96 or the later one at
Yeah.
least.
He's gonna be
So
playing in
wait, yeah, the
coaching.
Warriors don't even have a coach.
He's on the other side. Yeah.
He's out here
But-
playing
So I
for
think
the
it's
other
settled.
team. Traitor!
Yep. But
Alright.
that's why That's what I would say. I would say that, but I would say if it was the KD team, to be honest with you, I might go with the KD team over the Bulls though.
That would
I
make
think
it
it
harder
would
for me.
too. Yeah, I think it'd probably, dude. That team was insane. You just knew every year going in. You're like, oh, probably make
It's
fucking.
gonna be the Warriors Cavs this year. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Brady's in another Super Bowl.
They
Dude, I'm not
blew a
gonna lie,
3-1
that
lead
was
to
a
the
bad
Cavs
time.
that year, and then the
That
year
was
they
a
had
bad
KD,
time for the
they
NBA.
beat up LeBron. Like they won in like 5 games the second time. So
I don't know if it was a bad
swept
time
them.
for the NBA.
I thought it
Trav.
was.
After the
Like, everyone-
after the third one, I was good.
Yeah.
After the
Right.
third one, yeah, 2018.
Because then everyone was
was like the
joining each
last.
other. It was
Yeah, no, it was a good time for Kane the year after when
Yeah.
KD like we got hurt
Yeah.
and Clay got hurt and the Raptors won.
Yep.
Kawhi said, "Let me pop in when
For-
you guys
for-
your
for-
first
for
chip and
62
then leave."
And then dip.
Let me get this 5 bouncer on the 76ers to go to the finals and then beat up the hurt win Warriors.
It's all that matters, baby. Chip's a chip. If the bubble
Dude.
one counts, so does mine.
No, it does.
I don't understand
That's
why
all I
people
got.
say that. Why doesn't the bubble one count? Everyone was in the fucking bubble
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would just be because it was so short.
because
It
it's
was just
LeBron.
different because like yeah, it was shorter and like it was like I don't know, a college feel.
I think
like,
a part of it is
LeBron.
because it's LeBron.
Yeah.
But also
Part of
Kobe
it's
died
because
that
it's
year, so like
LeBron.
everyone knew the
That
Lakers would
sucked.
fucking win.
Yeah.
They called it the Mickey Mouse Bowl, I think.
Speaking of deaths, I don't know if anyone's into cars, but Ken Block passed away. He's a rally
Yep.
car driver, and I am very upset about it.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Lisa
really know him, but
Founder.
I looked it up and R.I.P. to him.
I
We were watching the
I used-
Bills game on stream last night, and I was on Twitter like trying to get updates. And first fucking tweet, like I refresh after the 20th time, and it was somebody retweeted and put "Rest in Peace, King" with a picture of Ken Block, and I was like, wait the. I literally said, hold the fuck on, fucking.
Yeah,
Fucking
I saw
start
it on a
Googling.
TikTok comment. It said 2023 started out to shit. We already lost Ken Block, and I was like, "You better be fucking lying." And no,
Yeah, rest in peace to the game, man.
It's a crazy start to 2023 with him. Jeremy Renner might lose his legs.
I saw
to
that.
a poly
Yeah.
kid. And then Hamlin, hopefully he's gonna be
hopefully
in
he's
recovery
good.
there. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, prayers
That was-
up all around to Ken Block's family, Jeremy Renner and his family, and as well as Hamlin and his
sure.
family and the Bills,
yes,
for sure.
absolutely.
Kirby, do you have
Um,
a question for our next guest?
Yeah. So my question is, and I don't think it's been asked yet. I don't think it has. You can say it if it has after I say it. But what is your favorite concert you've ever been to?
That's a good
It
one.
can
It's
be
valid.
Yep. It can be music. It could be whatever you feel is a concert to you. But
Hasn't been asked yet. So
yeah,
It's not.
I can say I've been to a couple of them. I haven't been to a whole lot. But the one time I did go see Juice World, that was probably my favorite. But
Word.
at the state fair, and I had to do it. I had to do a delivery, and I was supposed to leave a little bit earlier, but I'm like I can't miss a Juice World song, so I kept on. I was walking to the parking lot singing his song, so.
That's dope. Well, one of the things we like to do to end the podcast, or at least we try to do to end the podcast, at least when we have you guys, is put a positive quote. And today's positive quote is from Martin Luther King Jr. Guys, are you ready for this one?
hit me.
We must accept infinite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like it.
Oh, that was fucking fire.
Yeah,
That one just
That's a
hit
good
different.
one.
Well, that was a good one. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoyed having Kirby. Kirby, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. And if you guys did enjoy this episode, feel free to
Yes,
like, comment,
thank you,
subscribe
buddy.
on YouTube, and hit a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We always love showing y'all support. And if you have any suggestions on what we should talk about on the podcast, make sure you just let us know. Reach out. We
Hit
like to
us
talk
up.
about what people want to hear about. But Kirby,
Yeah.
again, thank you for being on the podcast. I think this was a really fun episode, and I want to say I appreciate you being on this episode for episode 20 and our first episode of 2023.
Yeah.
no problem. Appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Word. Well, that's a wrap, boys.